Hey up church family, I have a very brief announcement for you. It's time for fall classes. I'm so excited. We have two really amazing classes for you this semester. On Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific, enjoy Basic Truth Principles 1. I'm telling you, I don't care if you've taken this class before or if you are brand new to the ministry, brand new to the teaching. Basic Truth Principles 1 is where you want to be. You want to put new wine in new wine skins. And Basic Truth Principles is where you do it. There are two texts that you'll need to purchase. That is New Thought Christian by William Warch and Alternatives by William Fisher. And those books we have available for you. Don't worry, or you can go to Amazon to purchase them. But it's time for class. October 4th will be our first Sunday for class. That is Sunday, October 4th. And we have two powerful teachers who will be teaching that class, John Downey and Tommy Milner. So that is Basic Truth Principles 1. This is how you become a New Thought Christian. So let's do some refreshing if you've taken it before, or if you're new to the ministry. Oh my goodness, this is the best class to take. We have a second class that is taking place on Mondays at 7 p.m. Another powerful group of teachers teaching. We have John's teaching Sunday. We have Jack Roberts teaching and Dana Keel teaching A Time to Heal. If you have any experience in your life that you are ready to be healed from, anything in your body, anything in your experience, a relationship, some issues with family members, A Time to Heal is now. That class is on Mondays from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Pacific. Okay, so we're talking about an evening class. It is going to be online. Both of the classes will be on Zoom. I want to make sure I get all my notes in. It'll be on Zoom. And the text for that class is Healing Letters by Myrtle Fillmore. It is a powerful text. Again, we have some with the church. We can work to get those to you, or you can order that text from Amazon.com. So thank you so much for listening to these announcements. It's very important that we continue to study spiritually. As part of our practicing the presence of God is that we study. And so those two classes they're going to be amazing. You're in amazing hands with these teachers. I'm excited about what they have in store for you. Those classes begin October 4th, and October 5th, that Monday, is when the first A Time to Heal class begins. So thank you so much.
Good afternoon, Up Church, and welcome to another Sunday to praise God together. I hope you're feeling well, hope you're feeling blessed, and I'm so excited to praise God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. You are the face of God.
Do you know that you are the face of God? Do you really get that? That you are the face of God? That everything that God desires to do in the earth must be done through a consciousness. So when I see you, I recognize you for who you really are. You are the face of God, and I love you. Thank you so much for being here. I am Reverend Sherri James. I am the senior minister of this incredible, growing, expanding spiritual community. We are touching lives not just where we're located physically in Inglewood, but we are reaching out across the virtual world. And we are bringing a message of oneness, a message of unity, a message of divine love. And I thank you for being a part of that. And so I just want to take this time to pray and open our service. Would you pray with me? Father, Mother God, we recognize the divine nature in all people. We have come together to worship this presence that indwells us, this one power and this one presence that hangs the stars and the moon, but also breathes itself as us. We ask for a deepened understanding of who we really are. Help us to really know that we are you in the earth, that we are your change agents for good. Wake up our divine nature at a higher level. Help us to vibrate at a higher level. Let the study that we do today raise us up so that we may go forward and do good in the earth. I thank you, God, because I know that you answer every prayer I pray. And so I bless this service. I expect it to be transformational. I expect it to be a healing balm for whoever needs it. I expect it to be motivation for whoever needs it. I expect it to be confirmation for whoever needs it. I expect it to do the work that you have gathered us to do. We are the people that are carrying on this spiritual tradition that we learned from Reverend Della. And we do it with excitement and expectancy and enthusiasm, knowing that you cannot stop the law of giving and receiving. And so we give of ourselves so that the world may be better, so that when our time is done, we will have left our spiritual imprint and it will make the world better. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. I pray this prayer in the name and in the consciousness of I am. I affirm that this prayer is so, and so it is. God bless you. If this is your first time visiting with us at Understanding Principles, I want to let you know that you have stumbled upon one of the most amazing spiritual communities. We believe in the divine nature of all people, and we endeavor to live that in our experience. Let me share with you our vision. Our vision is to love every person up to their true identity and to their highest potential for the greater good of all. We are on a mission to express God's divine love through teaching spiritual principles, worship services, fellowship activities, and community outreach. And our theme this year, break every chain. We're in a new sermon series, and it is based on the book by Don Miguel Ruiz, The 4 Agreements. And I'll be working with the second agreement, don't take things personally. This is going to be a good one, y'all. So literally, I titled my sermon, How Not to Take Things Personally. How not to take things personally. So make sure you stay tuned because we're going to dig into how not to take things personally. But really, like right now, we're going to take a moment and just kind of quiet ourselves because we're going to really need some listening ears to hear beyond our conditioning to take things personally. Let's take a moment to slow down. All right. Our focus today in meditation is not to take things personally, but I want to give you a positive mantra as opposed to that denial. And the mantra I want to give you is, I trust myself. I trust myself. And so we're going to put an image on the screen, and I want you to you can rest your eyes on that, or you can simply close your eyes, and we're just going to take a few minutes to relax and affirm. I trust myself. I trust myself. I trust myself. And the more you repeat the mantra, just feel yourself relaxing deeper and deeper into the chair where you're sitting. I trust myself. You know, self-trust is about believing in our ability to make good decisions. Believing in our ability to listen for and follow the voice of God. I trust myself to listen for the voice of God. Take a deep breath. I trust myself to do what God tells me to do. Take a deep breath. I trust myself to live and move in faith. Take a deep breath. Self-trust is one of the most important things that we can learn as we move into spiritual maturity. Knowing that when we give ourselves something to do, that we will follow through on it. Take a deep breath. I trust myself. As we bring this moment of quiet to a close, we just relax and know that self-trust is our birthright.
Thank you so very much, Reverend Sherri, for that beautiful meditation. Good afternoon, Up Church. Repeat after me. I am a unique, unrepeatable miracle of God. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Angela Jones. I am the board treasurer here at Up Church. And I welcome each and every one of you to our community online. There are so many links you could have clicked on out here in cyberspace, but you chose to be at the right place at the right time with the right church. And we thank you and we welcome you from all over the globe. Up Church is a growing spiritual community, and our doors are always open to those of you who choose to live a healthier, happier, and more prosperous life. Please, I want to know who is out there with us fellowshipping this lovely, glorious, God-filled afternoon. type your name and your favorite I am statement in the chat. Yes, so that we can give you love. I also want to invite you, if you're looking for a spiritual home, to consider Upchurch. I know personally I have grown spiritually in leaps and bounds since joining this community. If you are looking for a place to grow and stretch in leaps and bounds and understand the breadth and depth of who you truly are, please email us at upchurch@upchurch.org, and we will send you your next steps. And we invite you also to fill in the virtual Connect card. Once again, welcome one and all. Enjoy the service, as I know you will.
Good afternoon, Upchurch. My name is Amiri McKinnon, and today I'll be reading the daily inspiration for October 11th. Choose to listen to God. To whom do you listen the most? Does social media, television, or the words of the people in your circle determine the choices you make in life? Everyone in your life has an agenda for you, which may not be for your highest good. Their agenda for you generally reflects an element of control. It has been said that misery likes company. There are people sharing your experience whose life and affairs are problematic, and they may have chosen you to be their company. Additionally, everyone in your life may not celebrate or acknowledge the good God is pouring into your experience. Know that is okay, because God provides your validation. You have a choice as to where you place your listening ear. When you choose to listen to your God presence and follow its direction, everything works out in divine order. Listen to God, and with God's guidance, make your own decisions. Look, the Lord, our God, has shown us his glory and greatness. We have heard God's voice. Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 24. Thank you.
And now it is time for our affirmation of power. I'm going to say it first, and then you're going to repeat it with me with enthusiasm. I am excited because I know that God created me on purpose for a divine purpose. And it thrills me to know that God needs me. I am on fire for my divine assignment. My soul cries out, yes, God. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Hallelujah. Okay, see how easy that is? All right, all together now. I want you to say it like you mean it, okay? Here we go. I am excited because I know that God created me on purpose for a divine purpose. And it thrills me to know that God needs me. I am on fire for my divine assignment. My soul cries out, yes, God. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Hallelujah. And so it is.
About almost 10 years ago, I moved to LA to go to school, and I kind of didn't know where my path was going to lead me. And I was looking for a church home, and I just couldn't find anything that really fed my soul. And so about 3 years ago, my roommate Mikhail decided he was going to start singing with Upchurch through Noriko. And I was like, okay, I have to come to service. I got to hear you sing. And that first day I came, it felt like home to me. And at that point, I was like, okay, this is something that I feel like I need. God is steering me into the right direction. And then Noriko asked me, hey, do you want to maybe sing with us? And I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe, yeah. And at that point, when that first service that I came in and I sang, and everyone welcomed me like I had been going to this Upchurch for about 10 years, 15 years at that, and it just felt like that was my church home, and Upchurch has become that for me. And that is what I'm very, very thankful for, to Upchurch and to God, because I didn't have that stability when I first came to LA. I had no idea where I was going, and then the minute I walked through those doors at Upchurch, I knew exactly where I was supposed to be. So. Ooh.
seemed to fall asleep. There was so much on my mind, searching for that peace, but the peace I could not find. So then I knelt down to pray and help me please. Then he said, you don't have to cry, 'cause I'll supply all your needs.
As soon as I stop worrying how the story ends,
I let go,
I let go and I let God, let God have His way.
That's
when things start happening.
I stop looking,
I stop looking at back then.
I let go,
I let go and I let God, let God have His way.
There's so much going on. Sometimes I can't find my way, and oftentimes I struggle from day to day. I have to realize it's not my battle. It's not my battle to fight, but I know that I put it in your hands, that everything will be alright.
As soon as I stop worrying how the story ends,
when I let go,
start happening. I stop looking at
I let go.
I let go and I let God have His way.
Let God, let go, let God, let go, let God, let go. Let God, hold on my brother and let God, hold on my sister and let God, hold on everybody. Oh, let's let God, let go, and let God, let go.
Let God have His way. Oh, that's when everything started to work out. When I stopped looking back at what was, when I let go, when I stopped wishing that things had turned out differently. That's when things turned around. Thank you, worship team. Thank you so much for that. That was powerful, absolutely powerful. And thank you for choosing that song. That was absolutely wonderful and a perfect segue. All right, guys, how you doing? How you doing? You know what question I really want to ask you is, how are you doing on your 30 days of self-love challenge? First of all, I hope you took the challenge, but let me know. Put it in the chat. How are you doing? Did you come up against any roadblocks? Did you run out of things to do? You know, did you reach a kind of a little wall where it was like, oh, what do I do today? Like, I know I hit that around like day 4 or 5. It was like I had to like take a moment to think and get creative and say, you know, what can I do? So I want to encourage you, if you haven't taken the 30 Days of Self-Love Challenge, please join us. It's part of what we're doing now with the 4 agreements. And it's a beautiful challenge. And I'll tell you what sparked it. It was something in the first chapter of the book. And I've read this book so many times, but I promise you, this is the first time I saw these words. It said, you can measure the impeccability of your word by your level of self-love. You can measure the impeccability of your word by your level of self-love. Now, like I said, I've read this so many times, but that's huge. That's huge. I never saw those words. And, you know, so I sat with it because since I noticed it, since it jumped out at me, I really just sat with it and thought about it. And when I took a self-examination of look deep in myself, I realized that at best, I was conditioned to ignore myself. That was at best. And at worst, I, put downs or whatever, criticism, strong self-criticism. And I don't think I'm the only one that operates this way. And I realize that we do so much and we never take time to just slow down and do something nice for ourselves. We're continually going and until we're just depleted. And then, we sleep, but the sleep isn't even restful because it's really just to give us just enough energy to get back up and to keep doing the same thing over and over again. And so I don't know if I'm talking to anyone but myself, but what I do know is that I'm interested in healing. So I'm willing to tell the truth so I can change and be better. And, it also hit me when I read that is that I would never stand for this in a relationship. If we were in a relationship together and you never have time for me, how does that work? If we're supposed to be together, but you never call, you never take me out, we don't ever go do anything nice, I don't ever receive anything nice, I would never stand for that in a relationship, ever. Oh my God, that's the quickest way to get your walking papers. And yet that's exactly what I do to myself. I work from sun up to sundown. I take a very, very short lunch break, just enough to get the food down. And then I work until it's time to go pick up Jordan. I work with him and do the things that we need to do in the evening. And then I put him in the bed and then I'm back at it to get maybe another 2-3 hours of productivity out of the day. So when I read those words in chapter 1, you can measure the impeccability of your word by your level of self-love. They landed like a ton of bricks. And I had to have a come to Jesus moment with myself. And so I really do hope that you will take this 30-day challenge with me. We have put the tracker in the chat, the live chat, and the regular comments, in the show notes, in the newsletter. We put it everywhere because we want you to get to deepen your love for yourself. So please download your tracker and fill it out and complete it. And follow along. And, the thing is that this is something I plan to do every 30 days. Like, I don't plan to stop after this first 30 days. So even after I finish it, I plan to do it again and again and again and again. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm trying to get to the place where loving me, doing something sweet and kind for me is my default and not something I have to remind myself to do. And so I hope that you will take this journey with me. I hope that you'll walk this path with me and deepen your love for yourself. All right, we are on, I was about to say step 2. We are on agreement number 2. Agreement number 2. And I promise you, Miguel said that the first one was the hardest, but I promise you, I think that this one is the hardest. Don't take things personally. Don't take things personally. I think I have elevated taking things personally to an art form. Oh, I'm good at masking it, so you probably don't notice it so much, or maybe you may not read it that way when you interact with me. But taking things personally is as easy as breathing. Who doesn't take things personally? If you put that in the chat, I'm not even going to believe you, because we're conditioned as human beings in the way we move through this planet to take things personally. It's just what you take personally. Not if, just what you take personally. This is what Ruiz says. He says, whatever happens around you, don't take it personally. Nothing people do is because of you. If someone gives you an opinion and says, hey, Sherry, you look so fat, don't take it personally. Don't take anything personally. My name, Sherry, wasn't in the book. Even if someone got a gun and shot you in the head, it was nothing personal. Really, Miguel? A gunshot to the head? Don't take that personally? Really? So what about George Floyd and Breonna Taylor? Don't take none of that personally? What about all this crazy stuff that's happening in our country? Don't take any of that personally? This is a hard one. That's what I said. I think this is harder than the be impeccable with your word. I feel like I can work that, but don't take anything personally. So I had to go back to my why. I had to remember my why is that I'm interested in supporting you and me through this election cycle. Because whether the candidate we're rooting for or not makes it into office, whether things in our estimation work out in our favor or not, no matter what happens, I want us to be whole mentally, emotionally, psychologically, physically, and spiritually. November 3rd is going to come and it's going to go. And I want to make sure that we are intact inwardly, because we got more living to do. And I don't know about you, but I want all my stuff out of spiritual escrow. I want when I finish life, I want God to say, man, she cleaned the storehouse out. Yeah. That's how I'm living. So I encourage you, don't tap out. I'm really challenging you to keep your ears open, to stay tuned in and hear how not to take things personally. And this lesson is going to stretch you. Just the idea of don't take George Floyd personally, don't take Breonna Taylor personally, that alone is going to stretch you. So just know that everything that you desire in life, all the good that you want, that private jet, that house on the Riviera, or that good, delicious, loving relationship, or whatever it is that you want, it is all sitting outside of your emotional and psychological comfort zone. And so the extraordinary life that God promised you is going to require you to stretch. So we're going to all stretch today. Y'all ready? We're going to all just put in the chat, stretch. We're going to all just stretch, right? That's what we're trying to do, because I want the good. I want to clean out the storehouse. I'm trying to clean out the storehouse. I don't want anything left in spiritual escrow. All right, you with me? Okay. Let's get this first one going. We take things personally because we agree with whatever was said. I'm going to just let that marinate. We take things personally because we agree with whatever was said. Everything that touches us has the ability to touch because we agree with it on some level inside of ourselves. The more we agree with it, the more it stings. This is why that 30-day self-love challenge is so important, because what happens is that as you love you, as you do things that are sweet and tender for yourself, what you are doing is you are literally changing the internal agreements that drive your life. Every time you do something sweet for yourself, you literally shift your estimation of yourself. It is so important. I don't know if you know who Malcolm Gladwell is. He broke into the publishing industry with a book called The Tipping Point. And this is what he said. He said, the tipping point is that magic moment when an idea, trend, or social behavior crosses a threshold, tips, and spreads like wildfire. There is this magic moment. I cannot tell you if it's going to be in the first 30-day cycle, the second 30-day cycle, or the 30th 30-day cycle. I only know that you shall get there. There will be this magic moment when all of the sweet and the tender and the loving and the gentle things that you do for yourself, that they cross a threshold, they tip, and they spread through your consciousness like a wildfire. Once that wildfire of self-love consumes you, you will no longer take things personally. Things only touch you emotionally because of hidden agreements that you haven't cleaned up inside of yourself. Self-love removes the emotional triggers. Nobody has anything to step on in your life because your self-love has dissolved the emotional triggers back to the nothingness from whence they have come. You only go off because somewhere inside of yourself, you have an emotional agreement that somebody's negative comment or action helped you become aware of. In reality, whoever set you off, you need to tell them thank you. Because you didn't know that that was going on inside yourself until what they said made you aware of it. Nothing other people do is because of you. It's because of themselves. All people live in their own dream, in their own mind. They are in a completely different world than the one you live in. I heard Reverend Michael Beckwith say this. He said, we're on the same planet, but we are each in our own world. When we take something personally, we make the assumption that the person understands what's going on in our world, and we are really essentially trying to impose our world or our worldview on them. Even when something seems personal, even if somebody insults you directly, it has nothing to do with you. I told you, you're going to have to stretch. What they say, what they do, and the opinions they give, they are according to the agreements that they have in their own minds. Their point of view comes from the programming that they have received across their lifetime. And you only intersect with them so that they can make you aware of some agreement that you have made while you were being programmed across your lifetime. Taking things personally makes you prey for predators. You ever been around people who push your buttons because they know they can push your buttons? And they say things, when you call them on it, they say, oh, you know I'm just messing with you. Oh, you know I'm just playing. And they hook you like a little hook. One little opinion, hook. It's like a fish hook. You took the bait. And they feed you their poison. And because you take it personally, you eat it up. You eat their emotional garbage and it becomes yours. But if you do not take it personally, and I'm not talking about being stoic, where it's just, you got this external facade. I mean, generally, it don't land nowhere. If you do not take it personally, it means that you are immune. And so even if you're in the middle of an emotional or psychological cesspool, you can be immune to someone else's emotional. Everybody around you can be spewing emotional poison, but because you have immunized yourself by not taking things personally, you are immune to the poison that everybody else is drinking. Immunity to poison in the middle of hell is the promise of this second agreement. When you do not take things personally, you stop feeling offended. Your knee-jerk reaction to defend your position or your belief just goes away. You stop making something out of nothing because you no longer have the need to be right and to make others wrong. As you fall in love with you, the greatest gift that God ever gave you, you learn who you really are and you accept yourself as you are. You love and accept yourself as you are. And so we see the world through our own personal lens. We see the world through our own personal lens. You may actually tell me, Reverend Sherry, what you're saying to me is hurting me. And the truth is that it's not what I'm saying to you that's hurting you. It is that you have wounds that I touch by what I say. And so you are hurting you. And so I can't take it personally. I can't take your response to what I am saying personally. It doesn't mean that I have ill intent. It doesn't mean that I don't love you. It doesn't mean that I don't care for you. But because you see the world with different eyes and eyes that I have no control over. And so you create an entire production in your head. You got a movie running in your head. You're the director, you're the writer, you're the producer, you're the main actor, you're the costume designer. Everybody else, including me, is a secondary character in the drama playing out in your head. And so the way that you see your movie is according to the agreements that you have made with life. And I cannot account for that. I cannot account for the agreements that you have made with life. Your point of view is something personal to you. It's no one's truth but yours. It's no one's truth but yours. I have a friend who is known for being blunt. And whenever he's called on it, he likes to say, I'm just telling the truth. He throw up his hands. I'm just telling the truth. In reality, he is telling the truth. His truth. Even if he presents it as if it's ultimate and indisputable truth, it's still only his truth. Now, if I get mad at him for some blunt comment that he's made, well, then I know that I'm simply dealing with myself. And I got mad because I was afraid. Because I was dealing with fear. And if I was not afraid, there would be no way for his comment to land. If I was not afraid, there would be no way for his comment to land. If I was not afraid, I would be able to see his comment for what it is, a projection of his consciousness that has nothing to do with me. Without fear running around inside of me, I don't get hooked by, I'm just telling the truth. Let me explain. We notice in other people what we're conditioned to notice in them. So we don't notice all that's in them. We only notice what we have the eyes to see. So if I feed myself a steady diet of emotional poison, how will I ever see something lovely in you? That's why it's not personal. If all I pay attention to is what I see as wrong with myself or with other people, what do you think I'm going to notice when I'm in your presence? That's why whatever people do, think, or say should never be taken personally. The only thing that people can offer you is a piece of fruit off of the emotional and psychological plate that they are eating from. And if the plate they're eating from is filled with bitter criticism and condemnation, what do you think the food off their plate is going to taste like? It's not your job to change people. I would love to change my friend. I would love to say, do you realize? But I have zero control over his emotional and psychological diet. He is free to feed himself what he chooses. And the real deal is that at the root of taking things personally is a desire to change someone. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take my personal lens and make you look at your life through my personal lens. And I don't have a right to do that. In reality, I need to accept you for who you are and how you show up in the world. If you put 10 people in the exact same room at the exact same time, and then you, in the same situation, and you ask them to describe the situation, you will get 10 different stories. Why? Because they're each looking at the same set of circumstances, but they're viewing it through their own personal lens. And the truth is that the 10 people, none of them would be lying. Each one is paying attention to different things, and they're creating meaning based on their own personal lenses. And so when I take something personally, what I'm really trying to do is I'm trying to get you to see the world the way that I do. And you're entitled to see the world the way that you do. That's your right. Growing into spiritual maturity means I free you to see things exactly the way that you see them. And I free myself to see them. And I don't need your agreement for me to see it the way that I see it. Taking things personally is negative self-projection. Taking things personally is negative self-projection. We expect people to dislike what we don't like about ourselves. We expect them to doubt our ability to do the things that intimidate us. And we expect them to reject what we reject in ourselves. We walk into rooms on the defensive because we secretly expect to be rejected. And we interpret any denial of something that we want or something that we propose as a rejection or as evidence of rejection. This is a big one, because I know you know someone, you know at least one person. It's like walking on eggshells. You don't know which one you're going to crack, but you're just waiting. And so you can never address any sensitive subjects because, God, I don't want to set this off. And often we block our own good because we do not have the training to get out of our feelings. So we burn bridges, we end relationships, we curtail opportunities, and we otherwise stifle ourselves because no one ever taught us how to stop taking things personally. And so I want to give you 3 practical tools on how not to take things personally. Number 1, build your identity on things people cannot take away. Build your identity on things that people cannot take away. This is a technique that coaches use to help athletes build mental toughness. In the world of sports, you have to learn how to take feedback and incorporate it from your coach, from your teammates, from your wins and your losses. And many times that feedback doesn't come in a nice way. Sometimes it comes as a criticism. Sometimes it comes as an insult. And so in the face of negative feedback, you have to figure out how to give your very best. That's one of the reasons we get excited about the LeBron James of the world, the Michael Jordans of the world, because they were able to push through hearing the worst criticism and come back and win a championship or multiple championships. What athletes do is they learn to build their identity on things that can't be taken away or things that cannot be disputed. And so as a result, they learn not to take the coach's feedback or the teammates' criticism or a big loss personally. What happens when you build your identity on things that cannot be taken away is that you remove the emotional triggers that people can trip in your life. People only touch us. They can only touch us if they step on an emotional landmine that we are already judging ourselves on. Think about it. You only, if it's not something that you're judging yourself on and that you feel inadequate or insecure about or whatever, or feel some type of way about, nothing anybody says will land with you. It about that particular subject, it just won't land with you. If I'm secure in the way that I parent, your feedback on my parenting, good or bad, has nowhere to go. I'm not lifted up by your compliment and I'm not brought down by your criticism because the emotional trigger is not available to be tripped in any direction. I recognize your comment, good or bad, for what it is. A projection of you. Nothing more and nothing less. So what is it that no one can take away? Your results. Your results. After this lesson, I want you to pull out a sheet of paper and I want you to write out an inventory of your accomplishments and what you did to achieve them. And there is nothing too big to put on this list, and there's nothing too small to put on this list. And I want you to write it on lined paper. And then when you're finished, I want you to cut it up so that on the paper, so that each accomplishment is on its own strip. And then I want you to put it in a jar, and we'll call that your spiritual cookie jar. This is my spiritual cookie jar. So I put mine on note cards because I write a lot. So these are my spiritual cookies. And every day I want you to eat a cookie. Now this is metaphorical. I'm not advocating that you eat paper. I want you to eat a cookie. Eat a spiritual cookie. What's happening here? 1, you're training your subconscious mind on what to pay attention to. 2, you're creating a new agreement with yourself. And 3, you're building a new identity. You're building one that's built around your results. These are all results. I don't care what you think about me. These are the results. I got the proof. This is the stuff that then happened, that has been accomplished. And so I build my identity on what you don't have the ability to take away. You could take away good looking, because there's always going to be somebody that's more good looking. You could take away whatever. Again, it's like you build your identity on your results. You build your identity. And so what athletes learn to do is they learn to place their value on what they have accomplished rather than on, say, something they might be working on. But you still got to grow. So number 2, the practical tool is you need to develop a learner's heart. One of the best days of my life happened when I stopped being smart. This is huge. And it was a hard one. It was a hard one because coming through the school system, I always got the top grades. I was always in the top class. I was always surrounded by the top people. And so I was deeply vested in being smart, in thinking of myself as smart, considering myself smart. But I learned that the problem with building your identity on how smart you are is what happens when you walk in the room and there are others there who know more than you. For many people, it's an identity crisis. First, you realize that you don't know the most. Then you set about becoming the one who does know the most because, again, your identity is built around being smart. But the problem with being smart is that there's always going to be somebody who knows more than you do. There's always someone who's just gonna, you cannot know it all. So being smart is something that can be taken away from you. The moment you encounter someone who knows more than you do, it's gone. And so you either resign yourself to feeling inadequate, or you throw yourself into a competition with the other person to now reclaim the title. My life changed the day that I stopped building my identity around being smart and I built it around being a learner. You know, as a learner, I can walk into any room and feel comfortable and safe. As a learner, if I don't know something that needs to be known, I know I can learn it. As a learner, I no longer try to keep you from finding out what I don't know. If you discover something that I don't know and you point it out, I'm not offended. I'm not embarrassed. And I'm not threatened. This is a powerful tool because it puts you in the driver's seat. There's no need, there's no end to what you can learn, and there's no need to hide. So you never have to be intimidated. My ability to learn anything is my ability to learn everything. And so I can look back and I can say, I may come up against something that's a challenge, right? But I remember that I learned calculus and I was good at it, right? And so my ability to learn calculus is the same function that allows me to approach this thing right now that I don't fully understand. As a learner, I have no position to protect. And so I come to each moment open, willing to learn something new. You can't offend me if you make a comment about what I don't know, because I didn't come into the room trying to convince you that I did know it. And so if you stumble upon something that I don't know, my attitude is, I'll figure it out. Practical tool number 3, learn to trust yourself. Learn to trust yourself. This tool may seem counterintuitive because, and it's kind of like the self-love thing, like the self-love and the impeccability with your word. Don't take things personally is really about self-trust. So you have to learn to trust yourself. The reason that we take things personally is because we've got our trust in the wrong place. We've placed our trust in the opinions of others, and that's why we get hurt when the opinion is negative. But if I wasn't looking for your opinion in the first place, and my trust was in me, the more you trust yourself, the less you care about what others do or say. Let me tell you what happens when you put your trust in the opinions of others. When someone gives you their opinion, what you are getting is what I call the opinion equation. This is their fears and insecurities, plus their values, plus their experiences, which equals their opinion. And so the question that I have for you is, where are you? The more that you trust you, the less you look to other people for their opinions. The less you look to other people for their opinions, the less you take things personally. Sounds simple, and it is, but it ain't easy. Part of it is in how self-trust is built. It's built the same way you build trust with other people. Do what you say you are going to do. Self-trust is built on keeping promises to yourself. Every time you promise yourself you will do something and you do it, your self-trust grows. And every time you promise yourself that you're going to do something and you don't do it, your self-trust diminishes. Can you trust yourself to get out of bed when you say you will? If you set the alarm for 6 a.m., can you trust you to honor that commitment? Can you trust yourself to follow through on the promises that you make to yourself? It's the way that self-trust is built. And the greater your self-trust, the less you take things personally. You learn that you only need to trust yourself to make you only need to trust yourself to make responsible choices. You no longer need to convene a tribunal to make a decision. That doesn't mean you don't seek out expert opinions when you need to. You just feel confident that you can make the right decision once you've gathered and done all the research that you need to do. When you trust yourself, you stop feeling responsible for the actions of other people. You know that you are only responsible for yourself. When you truly understand this and refuse to take things personally, you can hardly be hurt by the careless comments or actions that someone makes. If you keep this second agreement, you can travel around the world with your heart open because you don't have any fear. You don't fear saying, I love you. You don't fear being ridiculed or rejected when you say, I love you. You can ask for what you need. You can say yes or no, whatever you choose, without guilt or self-judgment. You can choose to follow your heart always. Listen, I know this is not the easiest lesson, but I also know that you desire a great life. You wouldn't be a part of this spiritual community if you did not want that for yourself. And so I'm encouraging you to take this stretch with me and build that self-trust and develop that learner's heart and build your identity on things that cannot be taken away from you. And if you do, you will never again have to worry about taking things personally. God bless you.
How many of y'all ready for your freedom? I know you can taste it. Oh, yeah. I only looking for that joy, for that love, that freedom you got. Come on. Hey. Step into the joy of the Lord. 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 Step into the joy of the Lord.
Okay, family, we know what time it is. It is time to set the law of giving and receiving into action.
All that I have and all I receive will be multiplied. I'm in the flow. I'm in the flow. I'm sending it out and it's coming back in. He supplies my every need.
It is week 42 of our building fund. We have multiple ways that you can support us. You can use Cash App. Our Cash App ID is $UpChurchLA. You can use text to give. Text the word UpChurch, no spaces, to 73256. You can also go to our website and you can give at upchurch.org, choose Give Online and complete your gift. And of course, you can use the mail. Up Church, 600 West Queen Street, Inglewood, California, 90301.
I give in love. I give in love.
Let's bless our offering. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love and I trust God. All right, let's back that up with a declaration. Let's send the gift forward with energy and enthusiasm and expectancy. I am in the flow. Pick the affirmation that works for you. I give generously and I receive lavishly. My Father, Mother, God supplies all my need. I always have all the money that I need. You don't have to pick all of them. Just get the one that resonates with you and put it in the chat. Say it out loud. Put some energy into it because you are sowing a seed for your future. All right, we've got some announcements and then I'll be back to close us out.
Hey Up Church family, I have a very brief announcement for you. It's time for fall classes. I'm so excited. We have two really amazing classes for you this semester. On Sundays at 3 p.m. Pacific, enjoy Basic Truth Principles 1. I'm telling you, I don't care if you've taken this class before or if you are brand new to the ministry, brand new to the teaching. Basic Truth Principles 1 is where you want to be. You want to put new wine in new wine skins. And Basic Truth Principles is where you do it. There are two texts that you'll need to purchase. That is New Thought Christian by William Warch and Alternatives by William Fisher. And those books we have available for you. Don't worry, or you can go to Amazon to purchase them. But it's time for class. October 4th will be our first Sunday for class. That is Sunday, October 4th. And we have two powerful teachers who will be teaching that class, John Downey and Tommy Milner. So that is Basic Truth Principles 1. This is how you become a New Thought Christian. So let's do some refreshing if you've taken it before, or if you're new to the ministry. Oh my goodness, this is the best class to take. We have a second class that is taking place on Mondays at 7 p.m. Another powerful group of teachers teaching. We have John's teaching Sunday. We have Jack Roberts teaching and Dana Keel teaching A Time to Heal. If you have any experience in your life that you are ready to be healed from, anything in your body, anything in your experience, a relationship, some issues with family members, A Time to Heal is now. That class is on Mondays from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Pacific. Okay, so we're talking about an evening class. It is going to be online. Both of the classes will be on Zoom. I want to make sure I get all my notes in. It'll be on Zoom. And the text for that class is Healing Letters by Myrtle Fillmore. It is a powerful text. Again, we have some with the church. We can work to get those to you, or you can order that text from Amazon.com. So thank you so much for listening to these announcements. It's very important that we continue to study spiritually. As part of our practicing the presence of God is that we study. And so those two classes are, they're going to be amazing. You're in amazing hands with these teachers. I'm excited about what they have in store for you. Those classes begin October 4th, and October 5th, that Monday, is when the first a Time to Heal class begins. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. It is a joy to have spent this afternoon with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to make you aware of a couple of things that are happening. We've got a new program right now happening with our youth, and this is open to all youth, whether you are a member of Up Church or not. And it's called Smart Money, Smart Kids. And what we're doing is we are giving our children spiritually grounded principles for financial well-being. And so we're teaching them things like work and responsibility. We're teaching them about debt and savings. And so this is a really, really wonderful class. It's free. It's from noon to 12:30 every Sunday. The first class was today, but they're all contained within themselves, and so your child can drop in. So if you have a child or grandchild or niece or nephew in your life and you want to set them up right in life so that they have an understanding of money from an early age, then please reach out to us. You can email aaron@upchurch.org and get information on the class. Again, it's free and it's for all ages. It's from ages 3 to 18. And so we have the instructors that are there prepared to work with each age group. So I really do hope that you participate. Okay, the next thing that I want to let you know is that we have a Halloween social. This is Up Church's spooky Halloween game night. Did I say that right? This is Up Church's spooky Halloween game night. It is going to be a spooktacular experience. And so I encourage you to be a part of it. You know, we are growing. We have people that are not physically located in LA who are becoming members of Up Church. And so our boundaries are expanding. And so we are doing a virtual party so that those of you that are in other parts of the country will be able to have a Halloween party with us. Now, of course, we're also still in quarantine, so we'll also be virtual as well. But here's the thing, in the show notes, also in the chat, we're putting the link for the Halloween social. Make sure you sign up. The first 50 signups get a spooky game bucket. And we gotta have you sign up so that we have enough time to get those buckets out to you. So please sign up. It's only the first 50. The rest of you will send you your stuff virtually and you can print it out at home. But if you want the bucket with the bingo chips and all of that, if you want the goodie bag, the first 50 signups get a spooky game bucket. So please make sure that you sign up. All right, family, I want to bless you. It is my desire that you come to life and get all of your good stuff out of spiritual escrow. It's my intent for myself, so it's my intent for you. It is my intent for you that you thrive. And I pray that something that you heard today sets you on the path to overcoming and to thriving in your experience. And I just bless you to take what you have learned, put it on its feet in your life, and live out these spiritual principles in your experience. Let's take our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and so it is. Have an absolutely blessed week. I will see you, those of you that come to Wednesday Soul Refresh, I'll see you on Wednesday. Otherwise, we'll be back here next Sunday, same time, same YouTube channel. God bless you.